to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City Council meeting is now in session. We got a misprint for the adoption of the minutes. That'll be the first on the agenda. The minutes from the January the 20th City Council meeting. If you have any corrections within the minutes, you can state them. If not, there is a motion on the floor to adopt January the 20th.
There's only one error that I saw, and that was, the last paragraph. It should be February instead of January. We need to change that.
No, that's right, that's your work session.
January 23rd, last paragraph.
On the back page. No, that's for the February, the 4th.
Second, Monday, February the 2nd.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm like, oh, that's the next city council meeting.
Also, have we, announced the positions,
No, ma'am, we're gonna get it advertised this week.
I know I've seen them for police officers.
Yes, ma'am, they sent me theirs, I have the one for the magistrate and the prosecutor, we just have to get the AR one up and going.
Motion on the floor for adopt the minutes.
So move with the corrections thing.
It's been moved by Councilman Ayrton, with the correction of February, and the second by Councilman Kenny. Any questions? All in favor, aye. Any opposers? Ayes, there, motion carried for the adoption of January 20th City Council minutes. Next on the agenda, we have, mobile homes, for Jimmy Moore and Ms. Johnny Cole. You can see the addresses and the parcels, they had those layouts and the zoning ordinance in your package. Any questions before I entertain a motion? Anyone have any questions with those two units?
Explain this to me, is everyone around them agreed to allow, mobile home in that area?
Ms. Hen, could you, elaborate on that?
Or is Cahaba and then the other, apartment thing, so we're waiting for those two at both of those locations. But besides that, all the other adjacent property owners have agreed, so we're just waiting on those. And now the place where Mr. Moore is, I've explained that there are mobile homes that have sat there before. There's a mobile home that's directly beside the property that Mr. Moore is requesting, and they have a mobile home that's either 105 or 104 Edward Street. So I think I put that there. So they do have a mobile home there, and there was once one across the street where the councils before have deviated and allowed that to go there. But as far as the Cahaba Center, I have not had a signature from them, but all the other property owners, yes.
Ma'am,
Yes.
how long has it been?
That was when they first presented that, it was back in, between September and October.
This year,
Last year,
25?
25, yes, because they have been on the agenda, Ms. Hogue and Mr. Moore have been on the agenda for quite some time, and it's just been delayed and pushed back because of the transition and everything else that was going on.
Don't you think it's been too long, Mayor, by now? If either one of us was trying to put a home in within 12 to 14 days, I think we should notify them, let them know where they can put one in.
I'm fine with it, that's why it's on the agenda. I agree with you, I don't have any
I
problem.
think we should grant them to go on in because it's been long enough. If I was trying to get a place to stay, I'd be hollering it like the devil for 14 days, that's long enough.
Who owns the Cahaba? Is that an individual owner and they rent?
No, Cahaba is not a,
State.
I have to look at the actual, let me pull up the,
Is it a state?
give me one second.
They waited long enough. They done waited
I
long
want
enough.
us to be,
They done waited long
we
enough.
don't live alone.
We don't get there.
It just says Cahaba Center, it doesn't have like.
So she hadn't even looked into
It
it.
doesn't have an individual owner.
She hadn't even looked
I'm gonna have
into
to
it.
log into that app, so you have to.
She didn't know anything about it, she didn't even look into it.
The Harbor Board for Mental
You
Health.
have the Land Glide app up. Okay, so who is on the
The
owner?
Harbor Board of Mental Health.
Did you let the council see that? We appoint to the Cahaba mental health.
It's the one in Selma,
Yes, ma'am.
and on East Catherine Drive, is that in
That's
one
the
of
one
the,
you're talking
That was there, and Mr. Ferris Curitan sold her the property, he signed that particular paperwork. So, the owners have there, but we just have that apartment, that's there.
Any questions? Any other questions? I entertain a motion that we approve, the mobile units for Jimmy Moore and Johnny Hope.
Mayor, could you add to it, the attorney and I are talking, so, just, approve it and do, underlining with the attorney and I by this week, trying to get working extremely hard to get those signatures or something pending that, so that we don't come under any litigation, and then we'll have Cahaba, we'll try to do something urgent between tomorrow and Friday. Mr. Moore, when are they anticipating bringing out your mobile homes?
I don't,
Either or,
I don't know yet.
All I just
I'm
need to
working
prove
on
over
it, I
there.
just need approval.
okay.
The other way you could do it is to say, we will, notify them this week, and if they have no objection, that the vote will proceed. So say pending, but if they have no objection, instead of tying it to signing on, since they're companies, maybe that may be harder, but we notify them and there's no objection. We'll take that as affirmation.
How much time we gonna give?
We're gonna do this week. We'll, I'll send Jean around there and see if they have someone directly in each one of the offices, because we would send code enforcement, but I'll send Jean. And if he's not available, because we're short-staffed, we have one out with surgery.
7 to 10
Ms. Jones gonna come back,
days.
so about 7 to 10 days.
7 to 10
Is that fine for
Yeah,
7 to
that's
10
good.
days?
Yeah.
So within the next council meeting, we should definitely have a valid answer for them. So I would approve pending what the attorney has said, and that way we cover all of our legal bases as well, and this be final by that time.
I'm gonna strike that motion, and revise it. It's Stewart
Stewart Properties for
LLC.
that's the East Catherine, and then the other one is the Cahaba Mental Health. So, and the way the attorney worded it is to do the approval pending that there are no objections from those companies, to place in those mobile units for East Catherine, and also I think Mr. Moore told me it was, 110 Edward Street with those parcel IDs for, Ms. Johnny Ho and, Mr. Jimmy Moore, and you'll still have to do a vote with the council actually doing that approval.
Alright, I'm gonna take it to the motion real quick.
And just so you have going forward, council, you do have the zoning, ordinance that I emailed to each one of you, so that you know how that goes. And then this map is the zoning map of the city, so if you have any questions, you can ask me. How that is that we have locations where it's zoned for where mobile homes go, where homes are 1, 2, 3, but if you have questions on that, the, ordinance explains that, and this map tells you what can go where in the city, okay? So, do ask me questions if you have questions on that.
Revising that motion, the 7 to 10 days return. On the, motion on the floor, being revised, that we approve, Mr. Jimmy Moore and Mr. Johnny Ho mobile home pending, contact of the Stewart Properties LLC and the Harbor Board of Mental Health, giving them 10 days, 7 to 10 days to respond. That we
I would
can-
just say, instead of 7 to 10 days to respond. I was thinking that we would have an answer by then. We probably would give them 5 business days to respond, which will give us in all 7 to 10 days for it to be finalized.
Allotted 5 business days for them to respond. If they have any objections to the units. That's the motion. So, then moved by Councilman Ayers in a second. Second by Councilman Kenny. Any questions? All in favor, aye. Any opposers? I say a motion carried for the approval.
We're gonna have to do a roll call. You're gonna have to do a roll call for that.
Councilman Ayrton,
Yes.
Councilwoman LaCroix,
Abstain.
Councilman Jackson, Councilman Kenny, and I myself, yes, pass. 4 yeas and 1 abstention. All right, moving on, I'll let the attorney elaborate on this some, but we have, spoke on it. You have an ADM summons in your, document. ADM has requested, elaborate on it.
So essentially, there has been an ongoing, issue around some mounds of dirt that may or may not contain, trash in it, and so essentially, there was an order done, and previously, and they, there's a complaint that has been filed saying the order hasn't been followed, right? And they're requesting the $12,000 that was put in there before, that the mayor has provided proof that the city is not able to pay, but they're bringing all of that up because there's still an issue going on, that he has been trying to work through with this, and essentially they're pushing this forward. He's like, we need y'all to help move this stuff, help to pay for it. They're like, you need to get it done, and so we will file a response to the complaint to move the process forward and see how we can resolve this in a way that's beneficial to the community and everyone.
And this is at Henry Street at the city shop.
This is the one that was in the paper.
When did the
I'm
complaint
not sure
start?
what was in the paper, but this is.
Can you give them a date on it?
It was January, but let me,
2019?
no, this, oh, you mean, not,
When did it initially start?
oh,
2000?
let me see. So
19?
they filed this on January 21st, but the initial order came out,
Yeah, those are initial copies for anyone that needs additional copies.
the order came out in 2024, but the order, all of it started, I'll have to look in there. I saw, I'm pretty sure 2019 or something around there, but it has been a number of years, and I think the mounds have been up there probably before most of you all were on the council.
I think that the complaint started in 2019. So, the complaint has been going on based on, it's been illegal dumping at the city shop. Forever, from the research that was done, maybe 30 years or so, there was illegal dumping. But ADM has required us to clean it up. Now, we have cleaned up over 60 tons of it from the tickets, but they want us to remove the mounds of dirt that's down there. They say it's garbage in them. But I haven't excavated them to see if any garbage in them, but they want them removed, remediated. So that's why the order is continuing. So that's why we have to do away from people dumping at the city shop, because any manufactured debris will institute that violation, because there's not a site to dump. So
And
we
it
can only
says
take that.
October 1st, 2019.
They give us a time there?
It's been extended ever since then.
I'm talking, have they give us a time?
No, that's the attorney, she gonna work on that. They haven't.
Yeah, we'll have to file a reply to it.
So I've asked them to help us fund to move the bill, but they said they didn't have the funds to assist us. So, so I don't know what kind of term they're gonna do, but we're gonna ask them again and see. To the landfill. They had to be installed in the legal landfill. So we're looking at about 20 feet high, instead of turning 20 feet high, about 40 yards across, about 150 yards long.
Right behind the shed.
Yeah, you can go out there and look at it.
It's not back there where all the woods.
No, you can see the mounds of dirt. That's the one that got the dirt. You can't see any garbage in it because of the mound.
we hide something that was saying that in the mounds.
That's what they said, yeah. But I haven't excavated, I don't know what's in them. So I told them we need to look together. They asked the city to open them up, but that's another look about it. But that's why if anyone asks, we don't take any manufacturing. We can't take any manufacturing debris at the city shop because it will constitute that pillar. That's why we can only take natural debris, which is limbs and sticks and dirt. Other than that, we cannot take it because there will be a fine against us because that's not a dump site. So the attorney Jackson will follow up with us when we speak with their attorneys on the Sundays.
And that's a $12,000.
$12,000. I think it's time. It's not just a one-time payment. It still got some stipulations.
So it does talk about, penalties accruing daily. It doesn't say what those penalties are. Yes. So it is time sensitive, so we'll respond to them and try to work it out. Previously, there's been information saying that, the city can't pay for it, and so they've worked with, the city in the past, and so we just need to keep working with the city and find out a plan to get what they need done, and also to find a way to have it paid for, so that fines and fees won't occur.
I know that our system was down today with monthly expenditures.
So we're gonna hold the monthly bills until the 16th, so just keep those for your review. Anything that's added will go out in the new packages and be emailed to you. So unless you have a question or something, but let's keep those bills until the 16th until we can actually, because AT&T went down, we can't print the revenue that we received, so you know how much money we have versus how much you just are spending out. So we're gonna hold those particular bills, and we're not asking for a motion tonight to approve those. I will say that we did receive $179,000 from Alabama Power. It is gone. It has been paid to catch up all of the taxes. So the taxes are now current from, I think we were somewhat behind from somewhere in the July, August range. So we caught them all the way up through the last payday, which was Friday, was the last time that everyone got paid. And I have this broken down. This is what I paid. So Councilwoman LaCroix and Mr. Kenny, I know you guys are new and council, so if you go to the bank, you see those transactions on the account, that is what it covered, and we shift them around from general fund to payroll to cover those particular account funding. You'll see a transfer of $13,000 and $13,035.72, and then you'll see $11,000 and so on for that other quarter, which is quarter, it'll tell you at the top, like quarter 3 is what that was for. We owed $9,919.13. That's paid. You see it, I put in the green column, paid. Okay, I have all the receiving that I'll provide you on Wednesday during the budget work session, so you'll know exactly what we pay out in the full amount of taxes per year. This is just that was due to quarter 3. Quarter 3 covers July, August, and September. Quarter 4 would have covered the next column there where you see about $82,000 in this next column. That is quarter 4. That would have covered October, November when you guys started coming, and also December, okay? So we're under you guys' tenure, and I always say I don't look too good in black and white stripes, and I don't like orange, so we're not going to jail for anyone. We're gonna pay those taxes, okay? So that's where those taxes are paid, and that was $82,000 some dollars. I think I was off about $730. I'll get that paid tonight before I leave. For that particular quarter. And then the last 2 pay periods, we were successfully able to have those in the account. There was about $21,000. So we used roughly about 100 and the whole 179 of Alabama Power check. Now we're waiting on Spire Gas, which is about 58,000 and some odd to catch up all of. I think we have about 3 outstanding retirement system payments. We'll catch those up. We'll catch health insurance, and all those things are current. But we'll make sure all those things are done so that you have a full analysis as to where we are financially with the city, okay? So that you know all of the taxes are caught up until the last pay period. They're due every pay period. So when we get paid on Friday, taxes are due by Wednesday. So Friday for pay period, they're due to the IRS by Wednesday. We're gonna get some penalties and fees for these outstanding ones, but of course we have to work according to how we receive revenue. That is done there, so about roughly $195,000 went out for taxes on last night. I worked until about 1:30 this morning. So that is completely caught up, and all of those here are all of the reports that I have to send to the IRS, and I'll get those mailed out, certified mail tomorrow. We did ask for Ms. Jones she's gonna come back for 2 additional weeks to help us clear out that, the final information, because we have someone that is, out on medical leave. So I need her to make those deposits and do all of that receipting, while I continue to get these things caught up so that you have a full forecast as to the financial overview of the city going forward, how you're gonna, manage the other parts of the finances. That, so that you'll know, but you'll see those transactions if you go to the bank, for any one of you guys that are looking at that, if you go to the bank and see those transactions, they went from general fund to payroll. And payroll is the account that we use to pay, so, payroll is the account that we use to pay for the taxes, because it's employer withheld taxes. So it's called 941. I usually label it in the account so that you know exactly what it is. I'll tell you what I'm moving money for. So that is what the account should show. You're gonna see it go from general fund again to payroll. And then you're gonna see it come out of payroll, go to the IRS. Okay? So that is that, and you have the overview as to what those amounts were, okay? If you need a thorough report, I'll have those reports for you during the, work session. And, they look somewhat like this, but this is mine for the IRS. And what we send them, and we get a receipt saying that it's paid that looks somewhat like this. So I've attached every receipt where it was paid and came out of the account today from the IRS. And that's for my paperwork, but if you want to see it, of course, you're welcome to look at that as well. Also, like I said, we're gonna work to, we have about 4 retirement, payments to get out. That's gonna be about $16,000 that we're gonna have to get to the retirement systems of Alabama, do the Blue Cross Blue Shield, but I will give you a full financial overcast on Wednesday. And then we have another follow-up, budget work session on the following Wednesday, on the 11th. So that's the 4th and 11th, we'll work on budget. Keep in mind and encourage each department that they need to be here. It is vital that they're here because they're the ones spending the money, okay? So, these taxes cover their checks, okay? Because they're getting paid, the city is having to pay the IRS to make sure that when they go to file their W-2s at the end of the year, we can have the monies there to make sure we're covering those expenditures and everything else that we have done, and 941 to make sure we can have employees. State taxes are, we kind of caught those up on last week. I'll give you an overview of that. Utility taxes are up to par. We have caught those up. We sent out a check for $27,000 in chemicals. What I'm asking Mr. Moore for in his reporting is that he lets us know exactly how much chemicals it takes to run the plant. I think you guys need to know that so we know when we run low and when we'll need more chemicals. The chemical company right now is asking for a check up front. So they want about $8,000 for us to pay them on Thursday. We're gonna work to get that, and I'll contact Councilwoman LaCroix and Councilman Stanley Kinney in the mayor to do a sign off on those particular checks, okay? Because Mr. Moore is in need of chemicals. And that is gonna, he has to have those things to run the plant, but we're asking them to do an overview. Whatever they spend at each one of these departments, if Gene ordered tools, he should be able to write down the tools that he got, and so that we can keep up with inventory, and he should be able to tell us how much they cost, and when we receive the PO and the information and the invoice over there, it should match what he's got, but he should be able to stand at that podium and tell the council, this is what I ordered for my department for that particular month. That it's not just on Mrs. Hinton, they're the ones that are using these things, they should be able to explain it to the council. So that means Mrs. Hinton's no longer gonna hold their hand, they have to come and tell you what they're doing in the departments, okay? And that's what we're requesting for each one of the departments, so that before they give you these long wish lists, they need to tell you where they are. We know that we need a garbage truck and some other things. If you think that there's something that we need to work on in the budget, please tell me so that I can include it in the information for Wednesday and we can adjust accordingly. Do you guys have any questions for me? Yes.
I got one. I want to talk to you about the garbage truck.
Okay.
If all said to use garbage truck, we gotta figure in a mechanic. You gotta have a diesel mechanic, a hydraulic mechanic, and a welder on site if he trying to talk about buying 2 used garbage garbage trucks. I prefer new. That'll get us by for a couple of years. When we buy used equipment, you don't have a mechanic down there to do nothing. Gene's just as old as I am. I used to be a pretty good mechanic, but you can't do that no more.
So
Everything electronic.
So what we've been doing is,
Yes, sir.
the guys have been working, doing the basic maintenance, which is the tires.
Yes, sir.
Which is the oil changes, which is the hydraulic fluid, the basics.
Yes, sir.
Whenever time we need some major work done, we actually send it up to, I think that's
We use,
Max Tractors and Trailer. We use them up in
Thomas
Brent.
Tractor.
Yes.
And we also use, Caterpillar and Thompson, just depends on the make and model of the vehicle. So we ship that out if there's anything made. They're not doing no transmission work, no motor work, no rear end work,
But all
The guys just doing the basic maintenance.
Yes.
So I think what
But all the
he's
small, like the day they blew out another hydraulic cylinder on the back of the garbage truck. They had a faultless idea what was going on. And that's what I'm saying, if we buy used equipment, I'm not knocking it. We need to have a mechanic on staff.
So that's something that we have to look at.
You know,
in the budget is that, you just can't get
Yes, sir.
any mechanic, these are mechanics.
$80,000 a year.
80,000, so that's more.
So
than
you'll
the
come out better
apartment
buying
person.
new.
Yeah, more. I agree with you with the 5-year warranty.
So are you asking to work the numbers for, diesel
Both.
mechanic?
You can do it in both ways, Ms. N, please.
So the price of purchasing a new and purchasing used, but also having a service mechanic, auto diesel person down at
On staff.
the shop and.
And that'll help you with every piece of equipment you got down there. Right now, you got trucks running through the city with no tail light, no headlight, no caution light. For the DOT, they couldn't even move out the yard right now today. And that's another liability. But if you get a decent mechanic, somebody come down there and do some work, you're gonna save money all the way around the table.
Of course, there's gonna be an increased cost on the citizens as well. Make sure that we can meet that diesel mechanic and the new truck, based on which way we go.
Yes, sir.
And what we will do, so that you'll have those costs, you won't have to sit down and see what, we usually give you a cost analysis of what repairs actually, the budget includes, like, you'll have a listing of what repairs actually cost per department. And so if, let's say, prior years, you've been spending like maybe $60,000 or $70,000 on repairing one of the garbage trucks or something like that. So you'll have those repairs outlined, there'll be a decision left up to the council to make, and once you look at that, you can see if it's feasible to add or subtract, whatever you want to do.
Thank you.
Make that recommendation, we'll make it roll.
Yes, sir.
So that's 6 o'clock on Wednesday this week and 6 o'clock on Wednesday the 11th. We have budget work session. We put it on the social media platform. Also, you have that bid information that we just listed on the social media platform that I think the mayor may have in his report coming, as well as those positions that we are going to get the magistrate position advertised this week. Police department has theirs. We'll add it to ours, as well as the AR. Michonne's going to come back for about 2 weeks, is what she said, to assist with that, and then we'll get those things worked out in our department as well. Meantime, there was one other thing that I had to do. Alabama Power is gonna, we will delay opening on February the 4th. I put an email attached on the back of your, information that is in, that was on the table. So if you look at the information that I gave you tonight on the table, it was the last page in the gym slip.
Alabama Power.
And it's an email from Alabama Power saying that they're gonna, work from 8 to 12 on the 4th. And they're gonna be doing the pole work right in front of, the police department, which is City Hall right here. And that means we won't have any power, so because they're gonna be doing work there from 8 to 12. So, we're gonna delay opening, City Hall until about right at 12:30 so that we can come in, and try to get everything running that day. Right now, the budget meeting is still gonna stand. I'm hoping that nothing will prolong that. So once they're done doing their power work, we'll be in the office working, but we can't work in the dark, okay? So, that is from them. We have the email there saying that that's what they're doing, and that's the date that they have given us. hey, are there any questions or concerns for us? And we'll make sure the public is aware of that as well. And we'll send that out on the all-cost system. Make sure that I also included in your package some sign-up forms for you can give your constituents if you need additional copies. Make sure they're signed up for the alert system so that when we send messages out, they can get them. It's easier to just text the number to Marion, it's Marion AL, and text to 38527, I think the text thing is. If you text that right now to your phone, you'll be signed up instantly. And make sure that it's the right Marion, so that someone is listening. So if you text Marion, capital MARION, capital AL to 38276, it will sign you up instantly. So if you went to your text messages and you just went in your message box and you're trying to send a message to someone, you're gonna send it at the top and put 38276. So if you're at your messages and you put 38276 and you text Marion, Alabama, Marion AL to that number, it's gonna tell you that you're signed up to receive those alert calls.
Can you say that one more time?
Sure.
Is that what I need to do?
So go to your messages. You're in your messages on your phone and you want to create a new message. Let's say you're going to create a new message.
I got you. It says 2.
You go to the top and text 3, 8, go back to my thing here, 276, 276. Yes, that's the number you want to use. And the message to 38276 is going to be Marion AL.
So, put right after that, put Marion AL.
In the box. It's like if you're sending a message to someone, your message to that 38276 is going to be Marion AL. Capital MARION. Capital A, capital L.
Okay.
Once you text that to that number, it should send you a message back instantly telling you you've signed up to receive
Okay.
Marion Alert.
Got you. Thank you.
Okay? So that is one of the quickest ways you can sign up. Otherwise, I put some packages in your, some sign-up sheets inside of your packages, and I sent them to your email so that you can give to your constituents how to sign up. We have 231 citizens currently on that system, so we're sending messages to 231 households, okay? But we want to get more so that we can get our messages out to them accordingly. Community Street has been opened back up, and everyone has been reported back to work, so the employee is okay from my information that I've gathered thus far. But they have repaired that leak that was on that street, and I know they have several more leaks. Councilman called me yesterday about a leak, and we were repairing one I know on Evans Street where the water is shooting up out of the ground. I think Mr. Moore, I contacted Mr. Moore about that one as well. So, are there any questions for me thus far?
Any questions? I will do a brief report real quick. We had a meeting last Thursday at 8 governing body. Anybody would like to elaborate on it? Anything needs to be said about the meeting?
I missed it, so I can't say nothing.
I know. I didn't want to say anything.
Oh, Joe,
So
go
we
ahead.
met, talking about the funding, talking about how it's important to show good faith to the initiative as a governing body for them to continue to support us in the rehabilitation of our water and sewer system. So that was the meeting we're really about. I sent you all a email too on Alabama Leading Municipalities, the trainings that are coming up, council, any trainings coming up. You all have the link, click on the register form. And a lot of them are virtual, some of them in person. You choose which one you want to go to. If you actually want to go in travel, let me know so we can do a travel request, right? Mileage reimbursement. The water projects, they're replacing valves right now. Ms. Henn talked about the bids that were in you all's package. If you can look at the bids, they're trying to be, we're bidding out the water plant rehab work now. Contract number 6, 7, 8, and 9. Those bids will need to be submitted by February the 17th at 10 a.m. So this is another phase in the process of rehabbing our water system, and that's being posted. Also, we talked about the power outage for February the 4th. There might be a delay in opening from 8 a.m. to 12. From 8 a.m. to 12 noon.
Is that just gonna affect City Hall?
I have no idea.
Usually we're all on the same, the
Just
time
let me
it
know
goes
that-
out, we're out the
all on the same.
They gave us that, I'm gonna put a notice out to the public regardless to say that, about them working on the pole. I don't know if it's gonna affect them or how Alabama Power sent their messages out to their customers, but I do know what they told us in that particular email, so I'm not sure to answer that.
So what the email
If it's
says,
like to put it on social media.
the email just says that the pole is located in front of the police station, and as a result, there will be interruption in service for approximately 4 hours. We have scheduled a replacement for the 4th of February from 8 a.m. to 12 noon. In the event of inclement weather, we will reschedule the replacement.
I think what she was asking me was that gonna affect some of the customers that may be hooked to that line?
No, they just were Pacific based on it is located in front of the police station. I guess that's what kind of let us know there's gonna be an interruption of service.
Okay, so we don't think it's gonna affect any of the residential
I
areas.
have no idea because they didn't state that, but I can call, the number is at the bottom of the contact person.
Okay.
So if you want to contact him directly to see if that's gonna affect, the residents, but I gave you what they gave me. So it would be a good thing to probably contact them
I'll do
and I'll
that,
follow this.
because usually our side, when the power goes out, everybody on this side has it, but the east side
And actually,
of Washington does not have power.
Alabama Power, they got those complaints in and we discussed them, and that's why they did the updated service to the detail. So they put in new transformers,
Did they really?
and they've been working on the inner part of the
Stan,
city. Yes, ma'am, because it's always been said that when this portion of the community go out, the whole part of the community go out. So they've been updated to correct that. That's been in the plans of the updates.
okay, so that's been updated then.
And, the Ms. Hen talked about is HR from the posting of the jobs, and that's all I have right now, council, and
And you gave me the water manual for 2026, so, and what that includes is it includes the, I think, not the latest of this audit, but it includes the audit that I don't know which one's in there, but it breaks down all the manual information so that you know that we do have plans, we do have the manuals and all of those things in the office. So Mayor and Mr. Hawkins bought this, and this is the book. Please don't ask me for copies of it, because this is what it looks like.
so those are all our AIM compliance. Those are AIM compliance documents there, so when they come in and do assessments to the system, one's supposed to be at the plant, one at the is up.
And his is over here, and the other one's here.
No.
Man, I got it. It's a minor order, but I wanna ask you about the nutrition center. We definitely need to get them people out of that building.
So,
No matter what. They need to come out there tonight.
So what we've set up is, so it's been a process,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
McKinney. We worked on a grant to redo the roof. That's been approved, but the weather's been bad. It was approved in November, so the roof is going to get repaired. I just talked to ATRC today. So what they're looking at is doing cold meals. They like frozen meals. They're gonna send them out.
But the people can't stay.
Oh yeah, no, we're not gonna have the people in the building. So what we're gonna do is we're not gonna have them to come to the center. We're gonna deliver the meals to them until we can get that facility up and repaired. Now that's gonna be talked about in the budget work session that we have Wednesday, because the floor needs to be done, the sinks need to be done. So with the grant that we have, we're gonna fix the roof, but the interior needs to be done. Now,
Now, what building is that, man?
That it belongs to
Yes,
Lincoln, and
that's what's been the issue with that as well.
the building belongs to Lincoln.
Hypothetical question. Why couldn't we put a kitchen in the,
And we just talked.
Depot. We just talked about that today.
Councilwoman LaCroix mentioned that too. Yeah, she mentioned that the depot, and the first thing I told her is
In
need
the
a
depot.
kitchen. We need a kitchen and a functioning, 88, I think 88 appliance bathroom.
So, we did say that we're gonna work, budget stuff on that. Mayor gave, me that this afternoon, and he received the report, and I received a copy of the report, so it's gonna come before you guys for budget concerns as to, we don't know what the estimated repairs will be for Lincoln, but I did inform him that if we couldn't add a kitchen, maybe we need to, come off that railing in the back, put one of those storage facilities that's already kind of built up and go in here and sheetrock it in and maybe get it wired up properly and have it where it goes from the inside to the back and connect there and just redo it, and we'll have to add stove, refrigerator, and because the food is hot food. And so they have to have a sink to wash the dishes, and they have to have stove, refrigerator, and all of those different things to make sure it's up to date. Otherwise, that's why we've always used Lincoln, because it has but, they have some issues with ceiling tile and floor tile and something else with their restroom and all that. But I will give you guys at the budget meeting the issues that they complain about, so that you guys know exactly what those are.
Does Miss
All that update you just said, and it's cheaper to put a kitchen in the depot.
We don't know what.
That is the,
Because
that is
you
what we're
use the
talking about.
depot, for one, you use the depot to rent out.
Right now, that's,
And they will rent it even faster if they got a kitchen in it.
we're all
So
on the
we
same
gonna
page.
gain all the way around the table. But if you put it out there at Lincoln and Lincoln Knight, we are building on Lincoln Knight property, not Marion, Alabama property.
Yes.
So we need to concentrate, cause I got volunteers to come in here right now. I got a ton, probably half of the people back here volunteer, have turned it into a kitchen.
Well, that is completely fine. We definitely talked about that. We definitely wanted the depot to have kitchen functionality. So I think in the budget session, if we can get some estimated costs, I'm not sure what we would have to do, maybe put it out for bids. Or if you got people that's gonna volunteer, see what, I don't know what it's gonna cost to add a kitchen in. I am not a contractor, so I can't give you that.
So we already see, based on, our deficit in our budget, that we're gonna restructure the budget a lot. So, we got to make sure that what we do is feasible based on, we got to get a cost estimate. If you go out there and say, hey, if I think it's gonna take this much, we need to make sure that it's actually gonna take that much. If we, and even if so, we might have to bid it out to see how much it's gonna cost, so we can fit it within the budget. We want it, but, we gotta make sure the money.
Scale's gonna balance itself. We're gonna work over here or work over there.
Well, and one thing, let me add this, we will
But
be
we
able
not-
to use
they're not-
community development funds, Mayor, we can't use community development because it's a community building. So I would say use community development funds to maybe fix it up and add a kitchen on there so you can use those funds for
And
it.
Lincoln hadn't even charged us this rent, so it hadn't been no cost.
But yet it's still, that's Lincoln Heights.
He's
That's
saying
not ours.
don't make their building. He says don't beautify their project, beautify ours, and because we already
But
rented
they're still
out.
gonna fix the roofs because we work on
But
the
this-
grant and
this-
get through Lincoln, so the city's not managing that for us. The Lincoln, Lincoln's, members are managing those funds. Fix the roof. I was just talking about the interior.
Yeah,
Yes.
Mr. Jackson done broke me up because he told me to stop saying y'all and they us and said ours.
That's correct.
So I'm saying this is for us.
I agree.
And let's work on us instead of working on somebody else. That come from him now, not me.
I agree. Good job. And we'll work to put in the budget
Yes,
so we can
ma'am.
get a cost estimate. Or if you guys, that is a project for you guys, if you get an estimate from someone or whatever, if we advertise in the papers, I don't know if you know contractors that are willing to go down there and look at what it would cost to add a kitchen, then you're welcome to send them down there, but we need to put that out. But the process is for bids. The process is for bids. So you need to advertise at the next meeting to look for bids and get
Because it was
specifications
under the $30,000.
at the
It's less than that he had
So,
approved.
at maybe about the 16th meeting, you can come to the meeting and I'll work to put it on the agenda that you're looking for, bid specifications. And that will, to add a kitchen onto the Marion Depot, okay? I'll put that for the 16th meeting, then you guys can vote on advertising it. That is the proper way to put it out there for the public to know that they can come in and whatever contractors want to bid on it at that time legally can.
Thank you.
In the meantime, within the next week, they're gonna serve cold meals to get them out of that facility and make sure that the elderly is still fed. We're gonna deliver that.
Does Ms. Evans need to be at the budget meeting Wednesday?
Yes, and she need to hear what she's gonna hear about that, because I know she has.
Okay, thank you, man.
All right, moving on, we have, Ms. Horn, she was put on the agenda for a request, to ask about the Chamber of Commerce, beautification, some work at the city park, Douglasville Park, and the MOU, request. She's available. You should have had that in your package, Ms. Council.
Good evening. Thank you all for allowing me to speak. I'm not just some random person. I grew up here, and this is my hometown. When I started getting involved and seeing what was going on, one of the first things I noticed and thought about was, in the last 4 years, I had worked in 7 counties. One of them was Perry County. I worked with elderly populations that needed things that they couldn't acquire through traditional health insurance. Perry County was the one county that I could never get assistance for a patient. The difference in Perry County and the other counties that I dealt with was there was no chamber here. And even though I would go to Sowing Seeds of Hope and Main Street Marion and other organizations, I still couldn't find the help that the shut-ins and homebound needed. So I come before you tonight, not with a new idea, and not requesting for Marion to spend money. I'm just asking for you to restore the Chamber of Commerce. It's an independent 501c6. It has its own board. We're not replacing anyone, we're not correcting the past, we're not creating something political. It's simply about restoring coordination, which once existed. Why does it matter? Because across Perry County, there are many things. There's good things happening. We've got citizens talking about revitalization. We've got events that we could bring to Marion. We've got organizations and churches that are willing to work together as a community. And we've got outside interests that we want to have return. And in doing that, we need the chamber. We need that extra voice. We already have a facility. The chamber was always housed at the depot. I know we're talking about now turning that into a senior center. That's still not a problem. I see it as another way to coordinate with seniors and make sure that seniors know what is out there for them. We need to serve as a visible, credible point of contact for the city of Marion and for Perry County as a whole. It's not political, it's not competing with the city or any other organization. It's simply a coordination effort to make sure that everything that's available in Perry County for the residents is known to the people. I was a nurse advocate, and even as recent as Thursday, I spoke with a nurse practitioner that works in this county that told me she had a lady who was essentially homeless. She went to every organization in Perry County and could not find that woman help. The lady is living in a home with no power, no water, and her child essentially got taken from her. And a nurse practitioner working in this county reached out to all of the organizations listed, asking for help and could not get it. That's an abomination. We shouldn't have that happening in Perry County. Our history is too rich. We have too much here available that we can use. So we need to get back to using it. All I'm asking for is a resolution of support to say that the council is in agreement that y'all want to see the chamber come back. Out of the, I think it was a 12-member board, there's only 6 of them that still live in the community. There, in the bylaws, there was always a place for the city council and the county commission to appoint someone to that board. And then also the citizens and the businesses of Perry County and Marion had the opportunity to appoint folks to that board also. So the city council would have a voice on that board. It's not something new, it's just reactivated. It's something that died. We need to bring it back to life. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is something that has been brought to my attention. I really had not paid any attention to it. But we have something called the Coretta Scott King Rose Garden. I think it sits between the fire department and the retail business is on Jefferson, is that correct?
Coretta Scott King's Rose Garden sits on the courthouse square, and that the square inside the square belongs to the county, so you would have to talk to the county about the Coretta Scott King Rose Garden.
Okay.
It actually was managed by the Guardian.
The gardening club has it.
Which is no longer. So, I'll go to the county commission about that. The other part of that is that we want to, there's a group of citizens who've gotten together. We collectively call our group Citizens, Concerned Citizens for Progress. And we want to see Washington Street and Jefferson Street look nice again. The landscaping has taken a drastic turn. It doesn't look near what it did when I left Marion working for Mr. Warren in 2005, 2006. We would like to have your approval to go into those gardening beds and bring them back up to look nicer.
So I
We're
think
not
that they
asking
need
the
to get with
city.
Main Street Marion on
Yeah,
that particular
so-
part.
So Main Street has,
We
access.
don't
to
throw
some-
that answer her. We don't throw
No,
that
she's
answer.
on the agenda.
She's on the agenda.
She's on the
She's
agenda.
not doing public comment.
She's not public comment, she's on the agenda.
Okay.
So,
Just for clarity though, that is why I asked the people to get on the agenda, because you can prepare in advance for it. Okay.
Thank you. You don't wanna get on that into it?
So, for the last, it's been over 15 years, we allow, Alabama honors students to actually do, the flowers and beds, that you send on Washington Street as a project, it's a summer project, that they plant and clean out every single year. So that's something we have to orchestrate in, and maybe, you all be designated a portion of the beds, and they can be designated, but we have to get
Well-
as a collective group, or even work together on it, so everything will be in unison.
My recommendation from my background is collaboration. So we would collaborate with all community organizations, Horseshoe Farms, the Alabama Honors College, if that's who it is, and Main Street Marion, to work together to get it back to where it looked. When I left here in 2005 from working with Mr. Warren, 2006, there were ferns all the way down Washington Street, from Lottie's to the liquor store. There were big planters, bigger around than me, bigger than I could put my arms around, full of flowers, flowing out of those planters at the corners and at the main crosswalk in front of the courthouse. Am I right in saying? And the gentleman that works for College City watered them every morning. Now, I know he may not be able to water them every morning, but we didn't have Horseshoe Farms in downtown either at that time. So, maybe Horseshoe Farms could be the ones that step up and water the plants.
That's gotta be done here in the summertime, I know.
Right.
City.
And like the Harris's always water pretty much that end of Washington Street. When the
There's
Harris's
gotta be
were still
some
there.
prioritization to it, because,
And
in the
it-
past, I'm just saying that, it's been multiple conversations about this at the time, well, people doesn't, stand up that end of the bar and put it like that, so it falls back on the city. So we'll have people come in, they'll plant for 2 or 3 weeks, it'll be beautiful, and the weeds will grow up in there, and now I got city personnel out there on their hands and knees, and nobody wanna come out there and pull the weeds out. So this has happened,
Yes.
multiple year after year, so it's gonna have to be some thought out process of some prioritization and some dedication to it, because we can pull up all the hedge bushes, you would say, so it could be low, that was there for low maintenance, but of course, when the spring comes, you gonna have grass growing up, so it gotta be maintained, but it's just gonna have to be some dedication to it. And everyone has sit out at the table, so it won't be a burden and so much on one person as it is on the
It
other.
needs to be something that is low maintenance and
Very low maintenance.
something that doesn't get very large, because In my tenure at the university, that was one of the things they did. They pulled out a lot of the large shrubbery that someone could hide behind.
And they have
Because
things that got
safety.
in it, and then weeds have gotten in, you know, we almost had to, I was criticized for digging them up, but they were not gonna make it.
Right.
So they said, oh, that was still making, several years ago when I said, you know, that they were not gonna make it. They had this and they had them done,
And that's where the coordination and the collaboration of all parties needs to sit down together.
Even if it's just on the storefronts, they kind of.
they gotta be that
Right,
here,
it
they
can't
gotta be
be
like
a
that.
prioritization just for one organization because the business just sits right in front of it.
Mhm.
You're making a statement, so their business.
Well, I mean, when I worked for Mr. Warren, I kept the big planter that was on the corner in front of his office and down to Angel Wings. I don't know if you were here when Angel Wings was still open. Angel Wings was the antique store that was next to the Wilburns building. And then there was nothing in the Wilburns building, so we kind of worked together. And people that visited with Miss Thurber throughout the day would oftentimes go out there and pull weeds out of the beds. Because there wasn't anybody. The city didn't have anybody to come out there. But we would pull them and throw them in the trash can. We also had trash cans on the street back then.
Well, the guys been doing pretty well, and we need to maintain it, throughout the summers, when it's not, a lot of hands to assist and help out. But I think, this would be something that we can talk about when, the honor students get here, Main Street, Wolf Horseshoe Farm, they meet occasionally together, so whoever wants to see if they can get in and start prioritizing, I don't have a problem.
So do you have a direct contact with Honors College?
I do, but I'll reach out to them.
Okay, because
When they get started.
the Citizens United would like to connect with Horseshoe Farms and Honors College and sit down and start working on this, because it's springtime. It's time to be planning.
So let me say
It's not a summer, it's not something you wait till summer to
I
do.
don't have no problem if I see an organization out there pulling up weeds. The problem comes in, and we've had this problem. You just can't cut what you want. It might seem like it, people are upset about a flower, I'm telling you.
Mhm.
Depending on where you planted it, what color it is, the time of the year, they will fight you. Ladies. Alright, so I don't mind you all, just doing maintenance work down there, cleaning it up, and pulling the weeds and throwing some trimming. That's fine. But if you're gonna plant anything, please let it come before the council and we can talk about this to make sure if anybody have any issues that we can address it.
Work with the business owners too, because I know
Yes.
Yana takes a lot of pride in hers,
Oh.
and then Susan passes.
Well, and on that side of Washington, there's not a planter bed between the sidewalk and the street.
No, but there is corners. with the
There is
cherry
just the
trees.
corners.
The cherry trees were just planted, and they should be okay, they were replanted.
I'm sorry, yeah, we're gonna pick up.
We need to get the organization that we're trying to get started, the Citizens United, wants to get with everyone and work together to have a collaborative effort. We're not wanting to come in and take over. Nobody wants to take over. We're just wanting to try to make what we have nice and appealing, because we want to see things come back to Marion.
And we gotta do that for community service, like any kind of community service, we have to go out and go trash it, and have stuff, so if someone's downtown, you all just wanna clean it up, just ask the store owners to be welcome to trim it, and just.
Well, like I noticed even in front of Horseshoe Farms, one of Horseshoe Farms buildings, all of the mulch is washed up to the sidewalk. It's not in the planter bed anymore. It's washed up to the edge of the sidewalk. And you just see dirt.
But we have to get with the business owners too, like I say, that's no problem with going in and doing touch-ups and stuff, just before something dug up or planted, it has to be approved.
Well, as a group, we didn't wanna touch anything until we had the blessing of the council, that we could at least clean it. Not necessarily plant and we have a avenue to get fresh, new chip, bark, mulch.
Yeah, make sure, let's see that, let's go back again, the business owner gonna have to prove the color, you know, like, we gonna have to work.
Even if we replace it with the same color,
Yeah, I'm saying.
They
if-
got
if
that
I'm
red
saying, like,
down
if
there.
Red is fine, but I'm saying if you're changing it, just make sure that. But
I feel certain I can take a sample of what's there, and Sims Bart will provide me with,
it's nothing to be
The same.
approved, that's just like community service, it's nothing to be
And
approved.
it's like the business owners don't own it, but personally, we like to think we do. And really, the cats of the city.
it
own
doesn't,
so
act-
much.
your property doesn't go past the sidewalk, is what I always understood.
No, we don't own the planters, but we, you know, we kept them up.
Right. It's like when I worked with Mr. Warner, I mean, he had to buy his ferns to hang,
Oh, yeah.
and we bought the plants that went in the planters, and I don't know where the planters have gone to.
That's something we could collaborate on if everybody would do the same thing.
Right. And that's what we would do is, I actually think Edwards Nursery, we bought all the ferns from Edwards Nursery because they were a local company. And I don't remember how we come up with what we were gonna put in the planter. I just remember Miss Harris telling me what to get to go to Miss Warren's.
If we don't collaborate, get that going.
So the last thing that I wanna talk about is everybody around the table, I think, remembers when we had a very vibrant Apple Bridge Festival. I pulled an article from 1977 when the Selma Times Journal said that there were more than 77 artisans and craftsmen participating in the Moples Ridge Festival. They had between 100 and 125 vendor booths. The festival had homemade crafts, heritage art, food, and live entertainment. It operated as a full-day, family-oriented, regional draw. Out of curiosity, I posted in a couple of Facebook groups, if I was gonna put on a true craft fair, no junk, no, I ordered this off of Temu and I'm gonna sell it. True crafts, true cottage licensed food or licensed food trucks. What would you all be willing to do? Would you all be willing to come to a rural town that's situated along a major thoroughfare? I have gotten over 200 responses. The only thing that is holding me up from telling them where it's at is the fact that craft fairs that I've taken part in other towns around here have not charged an exorbitant amount for their vendors to come. It is not, Moples Ridge was never a business. It was a way for an organization to raise funds. And those funds, at that time, went directly into a scholarship, if I'm not mistaken. Ms. Amy, correct me if I'm wrong.
I got it back to the community.
They gave it back to the community. So all the money that went in for a vendor to set up, come right back to the community. I would like to bring Moples Ridge back. And I would like for it to be a way for the Perry County Chamber of Commerce to have an income stream. And what I'm asking is that the council abate any type of fees charged to the vendors and allow the Moples Ridge Festival to pay 10% of the net, not the gross, because you've gotta pay fees. We will make sure that the food trucks provide, and anybody that's not in a food truck provides their state license. But them having to pay $60 for a peddler fee, I have a letter from Mike Oakley, who you are familiar with, from Centerville, the former mayor of Centerville, explaining that the city of Centerville has about 4 different festivals a year. They do not charge a peddler's fee. They go around, they make sure that everybody that has cooked anything shows their cottage license. They make sure that the food trucks have their health inspections. They don't charge a peddler's fee. They don't charge anybody a peddler's fee. The organization pays 10% of their gross, or excuse me, 10% of their net to the city in exchange for them not charging a peddler's fee. Because most people are not going to pay. If they get told they gotta buy a peddler's license to come somewhere for a day, or even to come multiple times in a 3-month period, they're gonna tell you go fly kites. Because you don't have proof that it's gonna work. It hasn't happened since, I don't remember the last year. I know it was here in 1995, but I don't remember when it ended. I know it ended shortly thereafter. So it's something that we would like to see come back, but we need the council to allow for an abatement of those fees before we can move forward. And I was looking at the calendar. We've got graduation at MI is like the 5th or the 6th of May, and the weekend prior to that is May 2nd. And that is the weekend. It was either the first weekend of May, first Saturday in May, or the second Saturday in May.
So, just to go, that's everything.
Mayor, can I just respond to the last thing to give the council a few things to think about? You definitely want to encourage activities like that in the city. The problem is, if you do it for one, you have to do it for all. Because if you start making exceptions, then people are like, why did you do it for them and not for them, and not for us? And so you have to be careful about that. So you may want to consider, like, is there a policy where you have a new policy where you have a 1 day versus over 3 months, right? Because you pay police, you city workers are working even every time there's an event. It even without giving the 10%, it directly benefits the city to have these kinds of events. So you do want to encourage it, but you have to balance it. And you have to balance it in a way that if someone else comes and wants to do it as well, that you have a policy that can ground it and not just one-off, because that's when people are like, oh, you're discriminating. So that's one who ought to think through how possibly that may look, where you can encourage things like that, because this is really important. And you want to make sure to avoid other issues and make sure that the cost of the city for helping to put things on are provided for.
And you're talking around the courthouse square, the county's got to be.
The county has already given approval. I've already received that approval. The county asked for $1 million in, event liability insurance, and we would name the chamber, the city, and the county commission on that $1 million policy.
Yeah.
And that would be our largest expense.
Would the city have to block off any streets for you?
They don't have the right to actually block off streets, so the city would.
So the idea that we come up with, because everybody loves vintage cars, we have a lot of people in the city of Marion who ride, I'm not sure exactly what they're called, the trike-looking motorcycle things.
Side by side.
Old wheelers, whatever you want to call them.
Whatever.
Go ahead.
A lot of people like to ride those. I noticed a lot of those in the parade. So I wanted to open it up to vintage cars, vintage tractors, motorcycles, the trike things, like were in the parade, and let them display them. But I don't want to interfere with College City, and I know that Jefferson Street is essentially a state-owned highway. So,
But you
right,
have, you got an undertaker over here by the funeral, by the post office, and most of the time now, nobody bury nobody on Sunday no more. So Saturday, his bad day, he is not gonna let you do that. there.
Well, I would definitely work with
I
Mr.
didn't say that,
Miller,
I'm sorry.
But you-
and our ordinance, the whole thing would have to, we would have to talk
It'd be
to,
prioritization.
we would have to talk to Mr. Miller and make sure that he knew well in advance that it was going to be. That's why I'm trying to start now. We're at February of this session. So we're talking March, April, May, 3 months, 90 days from today is the proposed date.
Do it have to be year round the courthouse?
It doesn't have to be, but historically,
You got Justin over there.
that's where it was.
You got Justin right there, the whole big street in front of Justin.
But we don't know who's gonna own Judson.
I'm talking the
The
street.
city owns the street though.
I'm talking about the street. You can park, you can do anything on, except Patsy, she might holler, but,
But where are you gonna put your vendors?
you put the business almost anywhere down through there, but you gonna have to fight right here, cause you got a public highway, I mean,
Post office.
state highway. You say you don't wanna block, Carter City, but,
And we don't wanna block
but where you
Mr.
going
Miller.
if you don't go, where you going, over here?
The only place we would be able to go would be on the far side of the courthouse,
You got a Mexican
the
restaurant
red,
over there?
which is the Mexican restaurant. But they have a parking lot beside them.
I'm gonna get to the front door.
The
The sidewalk?
Up on the sidewalk, we would be down in the
I really
street.
don't know, I just asked.
We wouldn't be up,
Set up on the ground,
Yeah.
marked off.
the vendors would sit up on the actual square. The only thing that would be down at the street level would be a food truck and like a vintage car or a vintage tractor or your motorcycles and side-by-side stacks and stuff.
We would pay an individual fee to it.
Right.
So to move time along real quick, I'm gonna just do a quick overview and lay out some things that we need to do.
Just a quick announcement, our Zoom is down because of the internet being down and my hotspot is not working right now. So if the public doesn't have access to Zoom, if you're talking about that right now, so
First, I want to say thank you, Ms. Horn.
And there is another, the baseball fields need to be addressed. And Mr. Brandon Kinsley has it. I don't have it, but I'll listen to what you have to say.
All right, are you ready to do that? Well, I'm just going, excuse me, doing a quick overview of what you're talking about.
Okay.
With the MOU, you got to contact those businesses and let them know the ideas and see if they are approval of that, okay? To have the Muffin Burritos Festival. Of course, the city will do whatever we can to support it, but we need to know a time frame, how long it's gonna last, and we can get with the business on whether it's gonna be a Saturday or a Sunday, because again, it's gonna cost the city money. Now, I don't know about waiving the peddler's license, but again, we gotta have officers out there, we gotta have trash picked up afterwards, but that's something being said. I think it needs to be a little more research done with the business owners. Again, even when we had the Halloween, even though we have it every year, do you know we have someone that calls LDOT and report us cutting off their road every time we have an event? Alright, so, and the only reason why we get a little leniency is because it's a city event. You see what I'm saying? So, with us approving another organization doing it, then it's saying that we're trying to override state authority. But we'll get to that as it comes.
Well, and do we need to contact the state? Do we need to contact ALDOT and ask for permission? Because then that would free up
That's
us
after we talk
interfering.
with the business owners to see if they are approved with it.
Okay.
There's gonna be steps to it, okay?
Okay.
Then we talked about the garden. You said the garden club is no longer, maybe you can reestablish the garden club, then you will have access to the Coretta Scott King, Rose Garden. Ask whoever the members are, who the previous members, if it's fine, if we reestablish it, because they have authority over that. I don't think that's an
that's
issue.
the county commission, that is on the county commission
That's
side.
it on the county commission side,
Yes.
but it's on the courthouse square,
Okay.
so that's something, and also working with the various organizations for the beautification, like I said, if you all gonna pull up shrubs, pull up weeds and lay some more, mulch down, I'm fine with that. They need to be approved by the business owner that you're not a place to make business. And again, nothing is pulled up or planted without approval. You know,
Yes.
it's just cleaning up. It's just like, I look at it as community service.
Mayor, can I suggest that I would suggest probably for just about everything that you said, because it is city property, that you all write down whatever your plan. So for the fair,
Okay.
for the cleanup, for everything, write down the plan, and so then, the council has something in writing that can, you know, maybe a MOU is needed, whatever, but it could be clearer if it's a written plan and some of the things that they've asked about today, and maybe checking in with some business owners so you can have a sense, and then bringing that plan back. It could be the next meeting. It doesn't have to be extremely detailed, but something in writing that can help move each of the things you talked about forward is what I would suggest, so I can make sure there are no liability issues.
Well, and I actually developed a volunteer waiver and release of liability and assumption of risk for the volunteers that would be working on the beautification in downtown and on the Muckle Bridge Festival.
And so that can be helpful.
And get that liability.
I also just wanna
insurance.
make sure, like, I've heard a lot of things that this can get, you know, touchy, but if they have a written plan, it's like, I've talked to this person, or we'll talk to this person, it's just easier to move it
Well,
forward.
I can promise.
Cause all of these things are great ideas, but just making sure, even with the chamber, like, what is the plan and the steps for that, and how would it be beneficial? I think, I'm a visual learner personally, and so being able to read and process and cross all cross T's,
And
dot
dot
I's,
I's.
could be helpful.
Okay, I can do that, and I can meet with I can go to each business and talk to them. Some people may think that it was rude, but I actually had a business owner tell me that I was the best spice dog she'd ever seen, because I didn't let anything stop.
Moving on,
Make her make
one last thing, Ms. Warren, is, you said, reestablishing the chambers. That's something that I will get with the attorney on. We have to look at the chamber, like you said, reestablishing. Those bylaws are stored in the probate office. They have to be looked at.
I have a copy, I can bring you the bylaws and the incorporation papers. If you'll give me your email address, I can get them scanned and email to you. And same, Mayor, if you'll give me your email address,
Attorney,
okay, she'll send it to you. Okay. Well, I will send it to the attorney, and then she can send it to you. And then I'll get everything written out and get a list of all the businesses, and I'll get it to you before the next meeting.
Are you gonna speak on behalf of the park?
I'm gonna let Mr. Brandon Kesley talk, if that's okay, because he and another gentleman are the ones that have been actually out there surveying and looking at what's going on out there.
Essentially what we wanna do with the, what we'd like to see done and do with the baseball field in the park is to use it as a park. Get out there, working with the city department, with any other entities, and guidance from you and the council. We don't wanna do anything outside of grounds, everything, especially with it being city property, and it's a little bit different than just a flower bed. There's a lot more liability, there's a lot more electrical, all of that goes on out there. But we would like to have a sit down to discuss with you and anyone else that you feel is appropriate to be there for that, so that we can move forward in repairing the fields, being able to use the park as a park instead of just a plot of land with fences that gets mowed and looks like it's useless. We want to be able to revitalize that and use that for the children in the community, for the adults in the community, being able to run church league softball games on the weekends, things of that sort. Weekend car meetups out there, food trucks, whatever we can get going with that, whatever interest is shown, we want to be able to run with and manage appropriately while working with the city, so that we don't want any headbutting there, but we want to do what we can to make Marion obviously a much better place with something to do on the weekends for adults and children, up to, you know, revitalizing the basketball court, getting a new playground put out there. And our goal is to do it without the city having to put up any money. We want to be able to work through that with donations, with other nonprofits, that the city doesn't have to worry about that expense, because you guys have got enough going on expense-wise. We don't want to ask you guys for money. We want to ask the community to step up and help us do that, while we work to help manage that with your oversight and with your guidance, working through it.
So, this was Councilman Ayers. So for the last 4 years, this has been his baby as far as over the park, as the council person over the park. And just get with him and talk with him.
Okay.
Bring you up to speed and, talk about some ideas with Councilman Ayers.
Absolutely. I'll get with you, we'll schedule a time to get together this week. Thank you.
All right, last thing, public comments. You have any public comments?
I am here on behalf of my cousin. She had, her son got arrested January the 6th. He was transported to Hale County Jail. He was in there about a week. You can't hear?
No, man.
Okay. So he was in there about a week, and he was not given a bond. He called over to City Hall twice. His mother did, rather. She was ill, and she called twice over to City Hall to see what was the bond or what was going on while her son hasn't been released in a whole week. And she never got a return call. So she called me on I think it was the 12th. And she was telling me about the situation with her son. He was arrested. He had, I think, 4 charges put on him, and taken to Greensboro, jail. He was in there a whole week without his medication. The mother couldn't get to him. She was ill, and she had no way of getting no information on how to get a bond. And the officer when whoever the officer was, did not ask him did he have any medical condition whatsoever, or anything. All he was concerned about locking him up, sending him to Greensboro, putting him in jail, and leaving him there. And the law says that in the training now, since they had all the big thing with George Floyd and all those incidents, they passed the law. And my attorney right here will tell you that now you have to find out that any person that you arrest, that they have any medical problem, illness, sickness, or whatever medication they're on, whatever. And this was very, very, I really don't know. I was just very upset with the situation when she called me that night. So what I have to do is call the chief at her home. And she was like, she really couldn't tell me too much, you know, and we went on a little bit, and I said, well, what does she need to do? But she said that my hours are 9 to 5. And I said, you're 24 hours, aren't you? So she said, well, only if it's an emergency. I said, I feel that this is an emergency. So I said, why hasn't he gotten a bond yet? Then she told me, well, it's been sent over to the county. I said, really? But why ain't nobody return the call and give it to her mother that it's bond, this paperwork has been sent over to the county to get a bond set. But that was a lie. because the bond wasn't sent over there to that morning. I talked to the attorney, and she told me, Ms. Starks, we just got this. I said, you're kidding. I said, hadn't been over here within 6 days. You all just getting this? I said, yeah, we just got this a few minutes ago. She said, give me a little bit, and I'll call me back. We gonna get this bond set.
I'm sorry. We appreciate it. I'm sorry.
No, ma'am, look,
Yes, ma'am. It's on-
You not-
Public comments.
what? I didn't hear
We
anything.
didn't say.
She didn't say it, so it's not 3 minutes.
So ma'am, this is actually like a legal matter, so I probably should have stopped you before, but I need the name of the person, not out loud. But if you would just wait till after the meeting so I can get that information, so.
Oh,
we
we know,
can-
because I got another case where you all didn't have a magistrate on my nephew, and they lied. They gave him a bond here in the city hall. The judge lied, like he went on Zoom, he been going Zoom, and that's a lie. They like, you all have not been having any Zoom. You haven't had a magistrate to set a bond. My sister had to come and pay a bond money over here when you haven't had a magistrate. Now I'm telling you, this is pathetic. This is very sickness that this had to happen to a person that was ill. First of all, had to sit 6 days in a jail, and the mother couldn't even get a bond. Didn't even know. But you know one thing? She didn't even get a call. He had to ask a friend, another salesperson, to let him tell his mother, gave her the number for to call his mother to let him know that he was in jail.
So these
This
are-
is uncalled for.
So these are very serious allegations.
It is. It's the truth.
And we want.
It's the truth.
So do you want a response?
It's a what?
I'm trying to.
It's a what now? What do you say?
So.
I'm asking somebody to say something about a grown man.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought somebody said something.
No, if I'd have said something, I'd have made sure you heard it.
I was talking about you also.
Okay.
Let's stop. So, I need the information so we
You
can look
got
into
it.
this.
They're your chief right there, the interim chief right there. That's who you need to be talking to.
So-
I am sick and tired of the lies that coming out of this city hall.
We greatly
And not only
appreciate
from
your time. We
her.
listen, we greatly appreciate your time. We done had enough now. If you got 3 minutes time, and you
Okay.
overdone it. Get with the attorney after the meeting, speak with her, give her all the information you need, we'll look into it.
For what?
We appreciate you.
For what?
Thank you.
She's not gonna
Thank
come.
you.
I
Thank
called
you.
her for mental health office. I haven't got it yet.
Thank you, yes, ma'am.
But she can.
We
Go talk to
we
her
sorry
lawyer,
for any
with his
inconvenience.
lawyer, but I'm just letting you all know that you all need to do better.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Because if something would have really happened to him.
Do we have any other public
Kim,
comments?
I mean, you sitting there, you sitting there for
First of all,
6
I
whole
want-
days without some medication.
One second, okay?
They gonna want to look, but I can tell, put it out. All these lying, I'm so sick of it.
I want to compliment Ms. Hinton. She spent some time with me on my water bill. We're still working through it. She's going to take off late charges, but I appreciated the interaction and us working on it. I wanted to say thank you. The bids were posted on the City of Marion, Alabama website tonight. The top of it is in English, but I think the bullet points are maybe in some other language. You might want to check it out.
It is.
It is, it's messed up.
And then,
Look at it on your phone.
I wondered if what amount of money might have been reimbursed for the officers who left. The law states if we did the training and then they left within a certain period of time, you're supposed to be reimbursed for the uniforms and the training. How much reimbursement have we gotten for that? Or have we gotten any reimbursement?
So, we can get back to you on that, you know, with public comments.
Okay,
We don't
but you
respond.
will get back with me. And then these, if you apply for a job, I know she's gonna post those jobs, but if you apply for a job, the website, if you go down to where you apply for a job, that does not work. Just an FYI.
All right, do we have any other public comments? Thank you all for your time. Council.
Yes, we need,
Attorney Chase, please, executive session.
10 minutes.
I'll be requesting an executive session for 10 minutes. Motion on the floor to approve the executive session for 10 minutes.
Make the motion for 10 minutes.
Yes, this ain't fair.
For 10 minutes.
Second by Councilman Hawkins, roll call. Councilman Harrison. Yes. Councilman Jackson. Councilman Keenan. And I myself use Pastor Nestor.
Okay. Did you turn up the video? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Bring it up here.
It looks like when you exported it, it just layers.
So the top of it,
all
the
kinds of,
top
yeah.
of it's in the rest of the bullet points. It's like it might
I didn't know that. I was asking, okay.
We figured you didn't know it. That's why we were trying to let you know.
It must have translated it or something like that, but I'll go back and take that.
I noticed your friends are watching my live. Yes. Teresa and Loretta. I hope they got their ears full, because I don't talk to them. I don't talk to them. Well, all they'll do is try to run me in the ground. So.
Well, do I know you? Yes, I did. You had good stuff to say. I will